The Hawks looked comfortable back in Atlanta, no doubt eating some home-cooked meals, sleeping in their own beds, and controlling almost all of Game 3. With a mixture of Trae Young magic and Gallinari mismatches, this young and inexperienced team looked poised under the harsh glare of the conference finals. But that's when reality set in, along with the freakiest of freaky ankle sprains that helped Giannis Antetokounmpo and Khris Middleton to thoroughly dominate the fourth quarter on their way to taking control of this series. In Game 2, the Bucks were able to stifle Trae Young by having Brook Lopez come up a lot higher in the pick and roll. That adjustment didn't take, as we find Lopez back to his familiar deep drop, allowing Young to get to the free throw line without resistance. With 4 Bucks in the paint, Trae has wide open threes all over the floor. One reason is that Giannis crashed down to help, but look at the rainmaker he drops over everybody. While Lopez is above the free throw line the moment the screen is set, his duck walk back into the lane allows Young a clean look from 13 feet. His contest is way too late to have any effect. With 1 foot in the lane when Capella sets the screen, Lopez is already too low to influence this possession much. He doesn't want Capella to get behind him. He does get in the air with a hand up, but Young has the best floater in the game. Throughout different moments, Young targeted the ball screener's man and tortured each of them in different ways. Let's start with Lopez, who did get up to the three-point line, but is so uncomfortable that far out he quickly retreats. While Holiday doesn't go underneath the screen, he doesn't try to get around it either until it's too late, and Trae took advantage with a practice shot right-left sidestep from 30 feet. Although Danilo Gallinari wants to come up for a pick and pop, watch Trae wave him off, preferring his favorite target. And this time, seeing Lopez remain that high, he just blows by him to quick release an off-foot finger roll plus the silly push foul and one. It was Bobby Portis' turn in the octagon midway through the first, as the offensive rebound forced all sorts of mismatches. You'll almost never see a Portis-Lopez defensive tandem in a pick and roll, and here's a good reason why. They both follow Collins on the roll, assuming the other would stick to the ball. Hilarious. And Trae gives them the shimmy for good measure. It felt like the Bucks didn't have to switch this pick and roll, but having been scored on so unceremoniously a few minutes before, I can understand Portis' reluctance to give Young any room. Watch Trae lift both feet and swivel the left foot in front with a crossover, then immediately into a jab step through the legs. This forces Portis to jump straight backwards, allowing Young the space to hop into a long two splash that he probably wishes he'd been a foot farther back on. Even Giannis got into the act a couple of times. While playing the 5, Young looked a little reluctant to go at him, as Gallo was bringing Connaughton up the ball screen, but the shot clock was dangerously low, and Trae caught Giannis giving him 10 feet as he rises up from the half-court circle to drop this one through clean. Midway through the fourth, they run pistol action back to the top, catching Giannis as the ball screener's man and forced to switch. This was kind of like another version of going underneath the screen, as they give him 6 feet of space once he begins the arm swing up into the shot. It's too easy, but it proved to be the last lead the Hawks had. It's clear to me that so long as Trae Young feels comfortable on the floor, i.e. the defense backing up too far in the pick and roll, he can work all kinds of magic. When you've got that feeling of freedom, especially inside the shorts area, you can accomplish practically anything. And it's the same kind of feeling when you use Manscaped's whole line of grooming tools for the modern man. By being properly trimmed, everything seems to flow that much better, and the newly designed Lawnmower 4.0 is truly breathtaking. Skin-safe technology which reduces nicks and cuts. Cordless and waterproof, trim in the shower with no mess. Wireless charging with 90 minutes of use on a single charge. You think Trae made this shot because he practiced it a lot? Maybe, but it's much more likely he's confident, smooth, and comfortable, knowing that this lawnmower has a travel lock feature. No more embarrassing buzzing in your bag. Get 20% off plus free international shipping when you click on my special link in the description below. Do it now and you'll find out the real reason why the Hawks felt really good about their grooming and the game until midway through the fourth quarter, when they could have used another go-around with the Lawnmower 4.0. Danilo Gallinari has been their leader off the bench, giving them key buckets throughout these playoffs, and last night was no exception. With Young on the bench resting, Gallinari is expected to provide most of the scoring, and when Lou drives to the hoop after rejecting the screen, 3 Bucks run to the ball. Lou has his choice of either corner or left wing, and this is the easiest shot Gallo has had all season long. The playoffs are all about matchups, and the Hawks have found a way to force the much smaller Jrue Holiday onto Gallinari many times already. With the step-up screen for Huerter, Gallo brings Holiday down to the right block, he attacks quickly, the Bucks aren't interested in doubling, and it's an easy layup. This time, they use the handoff to Trae Young to force a switch since they're scared of giving Young any room. The Bucks clearly are okay with Holiday guarding a guy 6 inches taller and much heavier by himself. Gallo simply turns to the baseline for another relatively easy score. This time, the brush screen in the backcourt forces the switch early, and the double makes Young give it up to the top. This turns into a back down, again, no help, and watch how Gallo extends the left step to get all the way by Holiday before twisting into an off-foot lefty flip over the late contest by Lopez. The turning point in this game was clearly when Trae Young makes a bad decision to force a pocket pass that gets deflected, and as he plans to sprint back down the court, he steps on the referee's foot. Clearly, that ankle was bothering him considering the brace he was already wearing on it, and the turn isn't horribly severe, but it was enough to send him to the locker room to get retaped, and Young was clearly ailing the rest of the game. But I'm not so sure how much it mattered, considering what we got from Khris Middleton and Giannis in the fourth quarter. Up till this point, the Bucks were shooting 46% overall on field goals and 32% from three. But over the last 7 minutes of the game, look how drastically these numbers changed. The Bucks run horns with Giannis and Middleton in the high post, and when they run an inside ball screen between the two, watch Giannis apparently clamp Collins' arm down, limiting his ability to contest this shot as Middleton gets going from deep. With some cross-matching going on as Bogdanović misses the three, it creates mismatches on the other end as the Hawks scramble back. With an ailing Young on Middleton, Bogdan clearly wants to help him and perhaps even switch, but in doing so, they give Middleton 8 feet of space to just rise up for an easy triple to take the lead. After regaining the lead with that Young three we showed earlier, the Bucks continue to press the issue with early offense. And I gotta say, an ISO step-back three off multiple dribbles in the corner is next level difficult. Just staying in bounds on this shot is impressive, much less actually hitting it over a great contest by the long-armed Collins. With his score tied and Young lacking any explosion, he settles for the three, and after the bad miss, Young takes himself out of the play with a foolish steal attempt. Perhaps he was trying to take a foul here, but I don't think he made any contact, and check how he doesn't appear back on screen until it's too late. He was supposed to pick up Middleton in this situation, but instead, Khris gets another practice shot. Second chance points absolutely killed the Hawks in Game 3, and it makes you wonder why more teams don't make it a priority. They had a 15-9 advantage in offensive boards, which led to an 18-7 lead in second chance points, which mitigated the Hawks' 15-11 edge in three-pointers made. Middleton finally cooled off a bit on the good Bogdanović contest, but Huerter is unable to keep PJ Tucker away from the ball, and it allowed Giannis to get himself going by attacking Gallinari in the post. This hadn't gone so well for Giannis earlier in the game as he missed a close-in shot under heavy physical pressure, and then tries to level Gallo with his right shoulder before getting stripped into a turnover. But he redeems himself with a surprising Dirk leg fadeaway that drops right in for a huge 5-point lead. Up 3 with under 4 minutes to go, they want to take advantage of the mismatch as Huerter guards Middleton, probably because Bogdanovic's knee is preventing him from moving well. He goes to the mid-post for the face-up, and I'm digging the left foot pivot that allows him to attack middle for the little floating hook over the Collins help. Tough shot. The Hawks had one last chance as Trae catches the entire defense out of position. Connaughton has to rotate down to prevent the layup, leaving Bogdanović with the lick his thumb, check the wind, he's so wide open three-pointer, but he bricks one more to finish 2 for 10 from three-point land in this game. And that brings us to the dagger from none other than Khris Middleton. It started out looking like pistol action for Jrue Holiday as Middleton sets the pin away. But when Holiday breaks his cut short, Giannis, who had been staring a hole through Middleton the whole time, gets him the ball to finish off the Hawks. They force a switch of Bogdan onto him, nothing fancy, just a sidestep corner three ball over the contest that swishes perfectly through the net to break the Hawks' backs and give the Bucks a crucial 2-1 lead in this series. It's clear to me that the Hawks have enough to be competitive and probably win one more game before the Bucks advance to the NBA Finals for the first time since 1974 when Kareem and Oscar were playing for him. However, if Atlanta can get healthy in a hurry, keep your eye out for this thing going 7 games. And with the way the Bucks defend Trae in the pick and roll, who knows? He could go off. They could hack a Giannis and see him hit less than 50% from the line in a do-or-die game. And it would be the Hawks who get to go to the finals for the first time since 1961.